Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good. In this video, we're going to be talking contour. So we're going to be talking about that in a little bit more depth. I'm going to try and cover as many face shapes as I can in this video as well. So anywho, let's begin. With contouring, you're essentially adding a shadow to, your bones, your structure of the face. You're enhancing, you're sculpting, you're adding more shape, more definition, and you are shading that area. But in general speaking, when you are looking for a contour shade, you need to look for something which is more cool toned because this mimics the look of a shadow. This palette here is by Sigma, and I thought this was a really good example to give you guys. This is what I mean by the cool tone. You want to create a shadow, you want to enhance, you want to sculpt, you want to define. That's why something which is cool toned is more natural to what a shadow would look like on your face, basically. Whereas the bronzer will be adding more warmth. A bronzer is actually really good as well for blending out the contour and just diffusing that a little bit more. So that's why you see a lot of people use contour and bronzer as well, because you're warming up the skin, you've added that definition, but you're blending that out so all the tones match. So bearing that in mind, a bronzer is really good for adding warmth, and sometimes you can just use a bronzer just to add a little bit of definition as well. Of course you can, but if you want to create shadows and a little bit more of an illusion, if you want to, straighten out your nose, let's say, or, shorten your forehead, contouring is really good for this. Sometimes on the market you can find bronzers like this. This is Benefit's Hoola, and as you can see, this is a really cool toned bronzer. So as it's cool toned, this actually would work pretty well on my skin for me to use it as a contour. Another one is Charlotte Tilbury's Film Star Bronze. It isn't as warm as other bronzers, and for this reason I quite like this. Is a sort of nice in between for me, and sometimes I'll just use this alone with no other contour, no other bronzer, because this is a really nice sort of bronzer. It's not as warm as other ones, as you can see. Whereas if you compare it to something like this, which is Iconic London, you can just see straight away that's really warm, okay? So now I've covered the warm, the cool, we're gonna move on to products and the application. Contouring products you can get in many different forms, such as powders and creams, and I have a few here that I wanted to show you because I do really recommend these. First thing first, we've got the Huda Beauty Tantour. This comes in a variety of shades, and I really love how blendable this is. If you're someone who's fairly scared of diving into the contouring world and you want to start off with something super easy, then you can use this one. Next product I want to share is this one here by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the contouring wand. I love how buildable this is, and it is really pigmented and it blends out like an absolute dream, and it doesn't dry down too fast. I also want to show you guys a cheaper alternative, which is the Miracle Sculpting Contour by Max Factor. These look very, very similar. I'll give you guys a close-up of the applicator on them and how they look, and they are super similar, except Max Factor one is a little bit more cool toned than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Before I go and apply the contour, I need to look at my face and look at the shape of it and look at what I want to contour. What do I want to enhance? What do I want to make look slimmer? What do I want to make look more defined? For me, it's this. I hate this little dip that I have in my chin. So one place that I love to contour is my jawline. I love a snatch looking jawline, so I'll definitely contour there in this video. And then another place I like to contour, of course, is my cheekbones. Pretty much everyone loves to contour the cheekbones, and you want to lift them and enhance them and just make them look more sculpted. When I look at my face shape, personally, I think I'm a little bit of a heart because I'm quite wide here and then it goes down to a dip. So look at your face shape and try to recognize what you are, and this will help you to decide where you should contour. I'm gonna go in with the Max Factor Contour Wand. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this cream product just along here. I'm also gonna take it behind the ear bit here. This will really help make my jawline pop that little bit more. And I'll take it along there as well. Now, nose contouring is really to the individual, but if you do find that your nose kind of is a little bit more wonky on one side or kind of goes off, look at the nose and think what you want to, change or enhance or improve, anything like this. So if your nose is a little bit more wonky, then maybe concentrate on lightly contouring one side to even it out. With me, I just like to slim down the nose a little bit, so I'm just gonna go and along here. Now, this isn't super neat at this point because I will be blending this out and I will be going on top with a powder. Then I'm going to go along to this area and apply it into the temples, as you guys can see. You can of course contour around your lips as well. You can go around the top lip, the bottom lip to really enhance that. You can go around the chin if you want the chin to pop out more. This is a Morphe M350 and we're going to start to blend that out. If you have more of a diamond face shape, then you can also contour a little bit here. If you find that your chin is fairly long, you can contour right underneath it, right there. I'll pop a little bit on the screen so you can see all the little dots as to where I have highlighted for areas that you can contour if you have a diamond shaped face. And what I mean is you can kind of go underneath the chin there to kind of take off a little bit of that. Then you can sculpt the cheekbones to also lift the face as well. Of course, with every face shape, sculpted cheekbones looks nice. I mean, who doesn't want that? With contouring, because we're creating a shadow, you don't want it to be detectable on the skin. Now I say that even though I wear heavy makeup sometimes, and obviously you can tell I'm wearing makeup. So even though I'm saying these tips and tricks, take from it what you want and apply it to your routine, how it helps you. If you have a more rounded face, then when you do your contour, you want this part always to be the darker part and you want this to fade out. With an oval face, you can let it fade out a little bit longer so it kind of comes down a little bit more, not too far because of course you don't want your face to look too sunken in, but you know, you can blend it down like this into your cheekbones and this will just really help add some more definition there. I'll put my photo on the screen so you can see exactly what I mean. Obviously I'll do it a little bit more dramatic on the photo, but you can just see you're gonna contour a little bit more straight like that, whereas some other face shapes you can contour and lift up that cheekbone. And then I'm gonna go and blend out that forehead. This product does tend to dry down a little bit faster than the Charlotte Tilbury one. I will not be bringing this contour into the center of this area here. If you have a larger forehead, then you would run it around this area and you'd bring it down, so you'd make this look smaller by contouring this line here. This I do not wish to blend on here. There needs to be no contour in this area because I want to create that shape. Anywhere that we highlight, we are lifting, we are projecting that more forward. Anywhere that we're contouring, we're creating more of the shadow, we are hollowing it, we're sculpting it. So I want to keep this in this area so it contrasts with here and it slims down the face. You can already see that that has just slimmed down and my jawline looks a whole lot better. Contouring the nose is a whole different thing because everyone's nose is different. Now because I've blended that out, it looks a little bit murky here, but I haven't actually added my concealer yet, and with my concealer I'm going to run that really close down the sides of the nose just to help sculpt that a little bit. You can shorten the nose by adding some underneath here. You can enhance the tip of the nose, you can straighten the nose. A nose is obviously so different for every person, whereas face shapes, some of us can have square faces, some of us can have round faces, heart faces, you know, we all can have some sort of similarities in that sense, but a nose is very different. So look at your nose and think, is there anywhere I want to contour? You might not want to contour it at all, and that's absolutely fine. If there is, learn what you want to contour and then practice that on yourself. Now I'm going to go with my concealer because I only have foundation on. I haven't actually applied my concealer just yet. If you wanted, you could apply your concealer and your contour first and then blend it out with your foundation. You can really make it work for you. You don't even have to use a cream contour. You can just go straight in with a powder. So I'm blending that concealer into the inner corner and I'm pulling that up to lift this area. If you have more of a rectangle face shape, this would be where you could contour these sort of areas here. I'm just showing you guys that you can't have a rough sort of breakdown on your face shape. If you're not too sure what all the face shapes are, just have a Google and they'll all come up. I'm doing this side first of all just so I can show you guys on camera, and I'm going to go in with a powder just to set that all in place. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent honey powder. Hopefully you can see on camera just how much nicer this side is looking compared to this side over here. Whenever you look at your face as well, take your natural bone structure into consideration when adding definition to certain areas. If you have quite a naturally very slim chiseled face, you might not want to contour too much and bring it too forward because you don't want it to look too sunken in. If you have quite a round face, then as I mentioned, you can extend that, but just make sure that this part here is where the darkest part of the contour is. Of course you don't want it to be too detectable, but me personally, I quite like a bit more contour than I probably should. I'm going to run through a few little different sort of brushes that you can contour with and that I'm going to use in this video. The one I just used, I like this because it's not too fluffy that it's just going to blend it out all completely. When you're blending out your contour, yes, you want it to look soft, but you don't want it to just be everywhere. You still want it to be in that concentrated area, but just nicely and finely put. So I like this brush because it's nice and small, has a nice amount of movement to it, so it will blend it out, but it's not too massive that it's just gonna blend the contour absolutely everywhere and just smudge it all over the place. So that's why I like these sort of small rounded brushes like this. Then we have these short brushes here, which are very straight. These are brilliant, especially if you're going with a cream product, because you can really get that line in there and blend that up so nicely. And these are great for contouring the nose as well, because I love to use these on the nose because it just goes down there amazingly well. Of course, if you want to get a little bit more detail, then a smaller brush would be way better for your nose than this. But just in general speaking, when I'm in a rush, something like this is great because it just fits in those areas perfectly and it is nice and firm. Then we have short brushes like this. This one is by Real Techniques and this one is really nice and fluffy. I personally love to use this brush for bronzing because it just blends out so nicely, but it can be used for contour as well because it's got that nice little angle on it. But I would just prefer if it was just a tiny bit thinner, that's all. Then, as mentioned in my back to basics video, a duo fiber brush. Now this one is very small. Can you see this? This is great for blending out that cream contour, really lightly diffusing it because it's so small and slim. Then a very, very popular brush, which I see a lot of makeup artists use, is something like this, where it's a little bit more tapered. So, you know, when it's tapered, majority of the product, when you tap it off, will go towards the end. So bear that in mind. So when you're applying this and you tap it, majority of the product is going to be at that tapered end. So when you're blending it out, these bristles around it will really help soften that a little bit more. These are really, really good brushes, these sort of tapered ones for contouring, because they do also really softly diffuse it. Really great. So if you want a brush that is a little bit more safe out of all of these to try, something like this. And you can get ones that are a little bit more slimmer, so you can have a little bit more of that concentrated product on there as well. I like to run through a mixture of brushes because sometimes we can always talk about the product and application, but then we don't tend to talk about the tools that we are using, and the tools are just as important as the actual product. I'm going to use Hoola Bronzer by Benefit with this little brush here. Then I'm just going to go down the side of the nose. Use my finger just to lightly dab that out a little bit, because fingers are such a great tool. Right now I just need to set this cream in place, because the way I think of it is like a sandwich. We've got the cream and now we need the powder, and they are the two slices of bread that you put together, and it just molds it in, and it just ensures your makeup is going to last so long. You do not need to use a cream and a powder. You can just go straight in with a powder. Using that duo fiber brush that I spoke about, I'm just going to twist the brush in there. And then I'm just going to go in little circular motion. For the bronzer, we're going to use something a little bit more warm now, and we're going to blend out that contour just to diffuse it and make sure it looks lovely and soft. And to do that, I'm going to use the duo fiber brush that I just spoke about, and I'm going to take the iconic London bronzer. And I'm just going to go at the back of the cheekbone and do a little bit of a circular motion and flick that, just to lightly diffuse that. I'm just going to run a tiny bit onto the top of the nose where the sun would naturally hit me. And I'm just going to run that a little bit onto that contour there, and then onto the neck. I do this so that all the tones are together. I'm just going to do the other side of my face and I'll be back. And I don't know about you guys, but I can already tell on camera that my face just looks 1,000 times better. Like, it just looks so much more sculpted. Also, if you have cheekbones that kind of go like this, you can bring a little bit down as well, just to enhance that when you smile. Little tips and tricks and placement like that. So when you smile, it just enhances that a little bit more. If you are thinking of where to apply your blusher now that you've done your bronzer and your contour, if you have like a diamond face shape, for example, then putting your blusher here will be fine, because this will just make this area look more lifted and wider. Whereas if you want to slim down the face, then putting the blusher a little bit higher here just helps sculpt that area a little bit more. This is by MAC. This is one of my favorites, and it's got a really gorgeous like sheen to it, so I think it just looks really healthy. So what I'm going to do is just go like that onto those cheekbones. This is how the blusher looks, and if you wanted to really make that contour and cheeks pop, you could go along and bake along the jawline, just along here, and that will really help those look sculpted to the heavens. Just to break it down, I'm going to run through a few face shapes with you and hope that this could possibly help you. So we're going to start off with the square face shape and the areas that you can contour. You don't have to contour these areas, but this is a rough sort of breakdown on the areas that you can contour and where if you have that face shape. Then we're going to go over to the hearts, which is me, my little pointy chin. We're going to do oval face shape next. rectangle face shape, because actually quite a lot of people have quite long squared out faces like that. So yes, rectangles, heart, square, oval, rectangle, diamond, we'll do a diamond face shape. And yeah, I think that's the majority of the face shapes that I can think of at the top of my head. Just to summarize everything, your cream contour can be applied before your foundation and after. Your bronzer is amazing for applying just over the skin if you don't want to contour, but if you do want to contour and bronze, if you want that super definition and you want that lovely warmth, then bronzers are really great for just blending out your contour. Contours will be cool toned, bronzers will be warm tones. I know on the market there are bronzers which are really cool and there are contours which are very warm, but when you go back to basics and what you're taught as a makeup artist, you do opt for cool toned products because they are the ones that create the shadow. Contouring can be used in many different ways. You can contour your lips to make them look bigger. You can contour your nose to make it look smaller, shorter, straighter. You can contour your forehead, your cheekbones, your jawline. Like, you can contour everywhere, but within reason. Contour cannot completely change your face. It can only slightly work with what you already have. So it has to work with your face shape, your bone structure. And that's why I wanted to mention in this video, take your face shape into consideration, because you might watch a video of, you know, someone like myself, or, you know, another YouTuber or anyone, like whatever. You might watch their video and see how they're contouring, but they're contouring for their face shape. So take bits from this video and just make it work for you. Right, you lovely lot, I'm gonna love and leave you because I've got a game of Splatoons 2 waiting for me. I'm obsessed. If you watch what I got in my Christmas video, you will know, like, this game has been my life. Like, in what level was I in Christmas? I think maybe I was like level 10 or 11, I don't know. Now I'm level, like, I think 17. I'm getting up. Okay, I need to calm down, honestly. I'm gonna love and leave you now. I'm gonna put my Instagram on the screen if you wanna go and follow me over there. I'd love it if you did. We can stay connected and I post all the damn time. I'm gonna try to reply to nearly every single comment, or as many comments as I possibly can in this video as well. So leave your comments down below and I'll see all you lovely lot in the next video. So until then, stay safe, stay positive, blessed, good vibes, all that good stuff, and I'll see you very soon.